Hello, hi, hello. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. If you don't know me, my name's Alice. I'm an illustrator, and I have had this video on my video ideas list for approximately 1,000,000 years, but we're finally doing it. I'm going to show you all my art supplies. I'm going to show you all of them. I was going to do my favourites, but then I thought, let's do all of them because everyone's different and you might be more intrigued by something that I don't use all the time. We're going to break it down into categories. It's going to be gorgeous. I planned this video out. Do you know how many times I've done that before? None. I also asked on my Instagram if anyone had any questions about art supplies, my process, stuff like that. I might save some of them for a different video because some of them I probably won't have time to go into it because I'll ramble. Yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I'm also going to kind of demo them as we go so you can see how I use it. Would you like to see some art supplies? I know I do. All right, grab a cup of tea, by the way. This is going to be a long one. Okay, cool, bye, thank you. Let's start with sketchbooks. I've got a little pile here of my sort of favourite sketchbooks of the past few years. I'll start with, so my go-to sketchbooks, I get questions about these all the time. My go-to sketchbooks are the Pif Supply sketchbooks. This one is the one that I use the majority of the time. It's technically a notebook. It has quite thin paper. You get a lot more pages in this one. It's completely fine for just using pen and markers and pencil, and I have painted in it and it's literally fine. The paper buckles a little bit, but I don't hate that. I kind of like it. This is gouache, so you can kind of see there that it's completely fine. And yeah, I mostly just use pens in these. I love these. I've literally used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is my 7th one. So this orange one is the Yuzu notebook. And these two are Cara sketchbooks. And I thought I'd just use these as an example of the slightly thicker paper. So I've used alcohol markers in here, and it has come through the page a little bit, but it doesn't go on to. So these are alcohol markers. It comes through, but it doesn't stain like the other page that you want to use. This doesn't bother me. Yeah, they're just great. I love how they lie completely flat. I find it really frustrating when you have to break the spine or use a clip to hold your sketchbook open. This just means that you can draw all the way across. They're great. Feel like I'm constantly going on about these, but yes. So that is the Pif Supply sketchbook. Another favourite sketchbook of mine that I used to use for the Pif Supply ones are these Odd Orange sketchbooks. I love these. They are independently owned and they have these gorgeous end papers. The paper's really nice quality. This one's not even finished. But again, great for painting, pens, markers. These hold watercolour pretty nicely. This is a bit of an ugly sketchbook, isn't it? But yeah, there's all kinds of paint in here. Inks. There's a whole page of ink and it's held up pretty well. These are very old sketchbooks. Big fan of these as well. One that I am currently using is this slightly larger one. This is a Strathmore mixed media sketchbook. I use this for more of a work, a workbook, and more paintings and stuff in here. A lot of the time it kind of just gets used for swatch testing, but this paper is gorgeous and you can paint on it and it's lovely. So I'll paint this was a Patreon bookmark that I painted in here. So yeah, that's that. This is my 2nd or 3rd one of these. Love. I like the soft cover one more than the hardcover one. And again, it opens pretty flat. Not quite as good as the Pith ones, but I do really like how flat this one opens. Huge fan of her. And then in terms of normal paper, painting paper, this is one of my favourites. It's a little bit lighter than some papers I use. I think this has 1 sheet left in it. but it's nice and smooth. I normally aim for something more like 300. I do prefer hot pressed. So hot pressed watercolour paper is more like this. It's kind of much smoother. And then this Winsor & Newton paper is cold pressed. So it's got way more texture, and I prefer a smoother paper. I like her, she's good. I'm not really like very committed to one kind of paper. I recently picked up this also Daler Rowney hot press. This is really nice, it's really nice and thick. This one's 300 GSM. And then I got a thinner one for when I'm not quite as invested in the piece. But Daler Rowney papers are really nice. The Cass Art own brand papers is what I normally would get, or anything I can get my hands on really. I also sometimes do use these recycled papers. They're too textured and I always end up having a really bad time with them. Sometimes they rip. It's definitely a me problem. Also, one of my favourite papers is Archer's hot press watercolour paper, but that stuff is so expensive, so that's kind of a special treat sort of thing rather than a all the time thing. But yeah, basically just whatever hot pressed 300 GSM watercolour paper I can get my hands on. That's that. In terms of pencils, I have a few that I'm like very committed to, but otherwise it's sort of whatever is in front of me. But my favourite, probably these three. This is the one I use the most. This is a Sumo Grip 0.5 mechanical pencil. So this is the one that I use most often. This is what I use for all of my sketches, like under paintings and stuff. I like using this with the blue lead. It means that like, when you paint over it, it doesn't have that like charcoaly smudge that sort of muddies the colours. So this is a really nice pencil. Oh, just snap the lead. My favourite pencil maybe ever. This is the lead that I have in it. It's a Uni 0.5 blue lead and it's great. This is my dream combo, ride or die mechanical pencil. In terms of graphite pencils, I love this pencil is a Blackwing 602. It's quite dark and it's quite soft. I just think that it's like so nice. I've been using this pencil for probably 3 or 4 years now. I don't really do much like graphite pencil work, but if I do, it's this bad boy, basically. I like a 2B pencil. I have this 2B pencil that's just a Stabilo. Just something about this one. It's like buttery. It's like, oh, half the pressure, twice the speed. Also, these Corez twin pencils. I used to use these more than I do now. I normally just sketch straight in pen these days, but these were quite good for like sort of layering sketches and like building things up. Oh, no, sorry. This is a bit of a sore subject because this is a Prismacolor Colorase pencil in the shade like Vermilion or something, and obviously you can see I have loved this pencil to death. I got these like pencil extenders and I love this pencil. They're so hard to get hold of in the UK that I'm just kind of too scared to use it now. I get a lot of questions on this as well. I have this mechanical pencil. It's really chunky. It's a Koh-i-Noor Versatile 5340, and I do have like normal graphite lead for it, but I also have the magic pencil lead, but it basically has like 3 colours in the lead and it changes colour as you draw with it, and I do think it is really cool. It's really fun. I don't really use it anywhere outside of my sketchbook. It's magic. I actually think that is all of the pencils. I feel like now is like the perfect time to introduce my my Penco storage caddy in all of her glory as we move on to pens. I keep all of my pens in here, pencils that you just saw. Let me talk you through the best ones. My most reached for, whoa. So these are my 2 Lamy Safari pens. I have one in the fine nib, which is this one, and that currently has turquoise lamy ink. And then this one is a medium nib, and that has the lamy red ink. I'm not sure if you can really see. I definitely prefer the fine. They're both really nice. I think that these fountain pens work really nicely in this sketchbook. I really want to try the TWSBI Eco fountain pen. Is that what it's called? So at the moment, this is all I have in my fountain pen collection. This is a Pilot G-Tech C4. I'm a huge fan of this pen. I used to use these in school back in the day. It's a really fine ballpoint pen, I guess. I just really like them. They're really nice. They feel really nice to write with. Ink is very smooth. Pilot G-Tech C4. It's a black pen, but it's a good black pen. This is also one of my favourite pens to use in my sketchbook. It's a Pentel Energel 07. This is the like nicest shade of red. I was looking for like a red pen for ages, and I found this in a little art shop. Super smooth, super nice to use. Ballpoint pens are really easy just to like chuck in your pencil case. I always carry this one around with me. Huge fan. This pen I get asked about quite a lot. This was a gift from a friend. This is a Pentel brush sign pen, but it's this gorgeous colour. It's like an olivey green colour, and it's got sort of like a flexy brush tip. I use this in my sketchbook quite a lot. My friend Beth bought me this one. So thank you, Beth. These two, huge favourites of mine. Tombow Fudenosuke? I think one of them is running out, or they're both running out. It's quite similar to this one. They're like sort of, so you get this really nice like varied line weight with them depending on how you use them. These are like an old classic of mine. I used to use these like 2021 sort of era. These are really nice. So this isn't the one that's not running out. Is this the one that's running out? Yeah, that's the one that's running out. I kind of do keep them because even when they're running out like this, you can get these quite nice like scratchy textures. So that's why I have both. These are also a bit of a throwback. Are they Pentel? Yeah, the Pentel brush pens. Oh my god, you can see how much my hands are shaking. But yeah, really nice. It's just like the brush is so soft that you just have to be like so gentle. Not on shaky days. My most used paint, probably no surprise, a Holbein acrylic gouache. You have probably seen these all over the place. They look like this. They are excellent. Acrylic gouache is like a hybrid between acrylic and gouache paint. These layer really nicely, but they can't be reactivated with water. So all of these paintings were done with those paints. You can see like the colours are super vibrant. I usually do a orange underpainting. These two are on like wood blocks. It works really nicely on there. This one you can see how I've done the like orange underpainting and kind of left it come through in some places. Favourite colours: ash blue, smalt blue, Naples yellow, coral red, viridian, other greens, emerald green and olive. This emerald is like nearly empty. I love this green. Leaf green and sap green. Deep yellow and orange is what I use a combination of for my underpainting. And then I also really like burnt sienna, Prussian blue, sepia. I use the Prussian blue and the sepia to make like near black. I never really use black in my work. Oh, I also really like pale aqua. This one, I wonder if it will show up on camera how bright it is. It's ridiculous. It's like a highlighter. And I keep them in this little cute little biscuit tin. The acrylic wash paints I use in a Stay Wet palette. I think it's for like painting like game models and stuff. That's been in there for too long and it was a little bit too wet. It has this foam underneath that you can get wet and then put these like bits of basically tracing paper on top, paints on top, and then it keeps everything wet. No, normally quite this wet, but yeah, that is how I use that. They're really lovely and like really nice opaque colour. Layering, you can build so many layers, you can water them down quite a lot. Obsessed with these paints. Love them. They're my favourites. If we move from acrylic gouache to normal gouache, I have this Caran d'Ache gouache palette. It's a pan palette. I really like this. I think it's really easy just to like whip out and do a quick painting rather than like have to squeeze out all the tube paints and kind of prepare a palette when this one is just already there. But yeah, these are just like normal gouache, so you can see how I can reactivate that. Just a little bit of water. Because these are in a pan, I feel like I do take a little bit more watery. Yeah, gorgeous colours. And also it's got a little like just tube of white. But yeah, this is just really nice for convenience more than anything. And a bit more of like a watercolour effect, but then still being able to layer. Yeah, I think this is a really nice little set, and just to have it all in one place, really easy if I want to paint but I can't be bothered to do the whole setup. Yes. This is kind of like my pride and joy. This was a gift from my nan, probably about five or 6 years ago now. It is a set of Sennelier watercolours. If you've never heard of Sennelier, they make the most gorgeous art supplies. I just ordered some soft pastels by them with a voucher that I got from my partner's mum for Christmas. But yeah, these watercolours are literally stunning. They are quite expensive, which is why this is my pride and joy. So beautiful and just blend so gorgeously. The colours are stunning, so vibrant. Like, I used to be much more a watercolour person than I am these days, but I'm feeling quite inspired by watercolour. Look at that red. It's so nice. But yeah, it's nice with the watercolour palette just being able to like get it out. It's all here. It's all gorgeous. I have this, which is it's stuck. I've had this since school. It's a Winsor & Newton watercolour set that has been through some times. I think I got this either for A level or GCSE art. And my most recent watercolour. So I saw Sophie McPike using these. They are the Kuretake Gansai. Can't see the rest of it. But these can be layered like so thick. Was it in this sketchbook that and they dry really like shiny when you paint with them really thick. Can you see that? But yeah, I really love these. Here is the swatch page for them. These like really rosy colours up here are so gorgeous. Making a mess of them already. This little guy with these paints. And this is sort of, yeah, my slightly dipping my toe back into watercolour. Oh guys, this is fun. I'm getting so excited about all my art supplies that I have and that I haven't used in ages. The main other ones that I use are these Liquitex Fluoro acrylic. This one's an acrylic gouache and this one's just a soft body acrylic, but I really like using these for underpaintings on weirdly smell nice. Not that you should be sniffing paint. So for coloured pencils, these are mainly Prismacolor pencils. Unfortunately, Prismacolor pencils, like, they just are worth the money. They are oil-based, so they layer much nicer than wax-based pencils. They're like super creamy and really nice to use. I use them a lot on top of paintings, so like just to like add like scribbly textures and stuff. I have them split into cool and warm colours. They are just the best pencils that I've used. I have a couple, literally two, Holbein pencils, which I really like. These are really nice and creamy as well. Fluorescent pink one, I use this quite a lot. Some of them in here are the Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils. These are really nice, a little bit of a cheaper alternative, so I would really recommend these. I saved up for Prismacolor pencils for years and years and years and years, and then I finally got a pack of, I can't remember which one I got. I think it was the 48 colour one. And I've never looked back. They're just, yeah, they're really great. If you can afford the splurge, I really would recommend. But these are the Caran d'Ache Neo Colour 2 pastels. I think the Neo Colour 1 pastels are not water soluble, but these are water soluble. They're super creamy, kind of like, they feel a bit like oil pastels. They blend really nicely, they layer really nicely. I really like this colour. I think it's, oh, it's sky blue. These are water soluble as well. So they're quite nice for like getting like texture on backgrounds, and then you can also draw on top of them on like a wet surface, and it has like a completely different texture. Yeah, these are awesome. You can buy like much smaller sets with like sort of curated colours. I think, did Nina Cosford do a set which has really nice colours? The annoying thing with like coloured pencils and wax pastels, as opposed to paints, is that often the larger sets have the more like interesting colours. So like, I know that the smaller version of this doesn't have this colour, and this is such a gorgeous colour, which is why I ended up buying the bigger set. Obviously having loads of different shades of acrylic wash is really nice, but like at the end of the day you can just mix your own colours. This one pretty often to make like a glow around, like a glow of like light around stuff. My most used are my Tombos. These are the colours that I have. They're really nice in my sketchbook. They're very juicy. One end is a brush nib and the other is just like a felt tip. What I really like about these is how you can layer the colours and they kind of combine like watercolour or inks, and they are expensive. It's also quite nice having quite like a limited selection of colours, because it sort of forces me to stick within this range. And also I really think that these colours kind of, like the colours I have of certain pens, do really influence my like digital work, because when I'm picking colours I'm drawn to the ones that I have in a physical form, if that makes sense. But yeah, you can see like how that like layers over. It's really, really nice. But they're expensive. I actually also used these like a surprising amount in my sketchbook. They're the zebra mild liners, and they're kind of like a, I think these are like big in the like bullet journaling felt tip pens, and I really like them. So it's got like a just a normal tip on this end, and then this end is like a chisel. It's a chisel tip, which is really nice. Yeah, I use them quite a lot just for like adding colour like this. Layer really nicely. Sometimes I use this purple one just to add like shadows and stuff. Yeah, big fan of these. You can normally buy them in like a set. I think this was in a set. I did have a set before that had like a really nice like mustard yellow, but I think they just dried out and ended up binning them. This is similar. I have these like pastel highlighters. Nice too. Like they kind of, they build up really nicely. You get this really nice like gingham effect with them, which is kind of crazy, but yeah, I just think they're cute. And then I have these Corez like brush pens, which, so yeah, these are nice. I get quite a lot of use out of these. And then I have this Sakura Pigma brush, archival ink. It's a really nice sort of cobalty blue almost. I'll be honest with you, I sort of forgot that this existed, but I actually really like that. So isn't that cute? So there you go, that's a Sakura brush pen. I really don't use very much, but it's this art graph. It's basically a water-soluble graphite in this little tin. It's really nice. It like paints but then dries like pencil, obviously because it's graphite. You just activate it with water. You kind of have to activate it quite a lot, I found. I would really like to experiment with this a little bit more. Yeah, a really interesting one and a really fun one, but I feel like a lot of people would maybe be more suited to this than I am. But yeah, I would love to give this more of a go. I used these Liquitex acrylic inks for like underpaintings. Basically just like very liquidy acrylic paint, and you can get quite nice like textures with inks. Oh yeah, this like ceramic paint palette. I use this for mainly watercolours. Kuretake Gansai ones I used this recently because it doesn't have a palette like built into it. Lillian May, I think that says. This was a gift from my partner a few years ago, but I think it's so beautiful. In terms of brushes, I get asked about brushes quite a lot. These are my brushes, my brush collection. I have these that I was sent from Artify, and I really like these. These are by Craft Smart, which is literally just the cheapest brand in Hobbycraft. I really like those. I just like round, like quite small round brushes. I will normally paint most things in like a 6 or an 8. Fairly random. Some of these really cheaper ones are a bit dry. I use for like getting more texture and stuff. Yeah, I can't really say much about brushes because I just grab whatever. This is like a Pro Art brush. This was really expensive. I don't think it's much better than anything else I have. So just get cheap ones. I like to buy cheap brushes because I'm really bad at just leaving them in the jar of water and then the like tips get like all bent. So I'd rather not spend £15 on one paintbrush and then hate myself for ruining it. But like you can literally see this, like all the paint's come off. These are so old and they're fine. They're literally fine. This is my iPad. She's new. She's new and she's beautiful. This is my old iPad in all of her glory. I basically draw everything in Procreate, and yeah, I'll just talk you through my favourite brushes and process a little bit. Of the new Procreate brushes, like the ones that came with the Procreate upgrade, I love Swansea. I have them edited a little bit, so I have, if you come down here into colour dynamics, I have the hue up to about 3 or 4%. It just gives like a quite like natural amount of colour variation, instead of having to be like, oh okay, now I'll change it like a little bit red, and then, you know, so that is a really handy tip. But yeah, I really like Swansea. It's like a really nice brush for like filling in colour. You get a nice like sort of grainy texture, and also if you take it down, it's like just a really nice pencil as well. I also really like Winkley. I think this one is in, Swansea is in pencils, Winkley is in paints. This one makes a really nice gloopy texture, and I'll often use this for like underpainting in Procreate. I also like Mina. It's kind of like a pastel-y, quite nice just for like adding texture on top of things. Meadowbank is the same sort of thing. And then there was another one in the gouache one that I was using yesterday. I think it was Borno, is the one that was already on. This is really nice. It has like quite a nice like texture to the edge of stroke. So those are my favourite of the like standard Procreate brushes. In terms of other ones and ones I've paid for, in the Max Pack, in the Retro Max Pack, there is a brush called Max U Gouache Flow. I am obsessed with this brush. I have done paintings like entirely in this. I like to paint on this like all in one layer. I will just go like right on top with another colour, all in one layer, as if I'm painting like in real life. Also of the Max Packs, I really like the Liner Strong. I will do most of my like sort of titles in this one because it's nice and solid but still has like a little bit of texture. And I really like Photoscopy Sketch as well. It's got like a bit more of a texture to it, but I use this one quite a lot for line work. I'm not really a massive line work person. Those are the ones I like. And then I have so many and I don't use any of them. I like these Duplitone brushes. Sometimes I use these quite a lot for like sticker designs. These are quite nice, like different percentages, and you can use the like selection tool to kind of make a shape and fill it in like that. And also the Danny Diaz toolbox. My favourite ones from the Danny Diaz toolbox are number 4 pencil. This is really similar to the Narrandin pencil on Procreate. And the Comic pencil I really like, has this really sort of soft texture. I use this one quite a lot. Things in the same way that I would use like my Prismacolors. And Kate brush. which I think is hilarious. But this is really nice just for like filling in colour and having a bit of a textured edge. This was probably that Winkley brush. This isn't always how I will do digital art, but basically I've got like the orange underpainting, which is just done sort of like a textured gouache sort of brush. The main painting is all on one layer, which is kind of crazy. The like bits of sunlight on an overlay, a nice warm yellow, just like painted on dots like this, and then these little shapes of light, just add a bit of like light and atmosphere and whimsy, and then I'll always take that down fairly low, make it a little bit more subtle, and you can just sort of, but you can see how I've used the pencil here to add texture like on top of the brush. I think I've been trying to let my like digital process and my traditional process inform each other, and the like techniques that I use and the colours that I choose, and I think that's how you get more of a cohesive style, by rather than separating them and having them as two different things, which is kind of why I wanted to include it in this video. But if you have any more questions about how I use Procreate, I would really love to answer them. I think I'm going to make a whole separate video talking about Procreate and how I use it. But yeah, this one was all done with that Swansea pastel pencil that I was telling you about. And then I've just added like a noise layer on top. But yeah, you can see it's like not very many layers. And this one I've done soft light instead of overlay, and you can kind of see how that changes the effect. But yeah, just experiment, have fun. I definitely will delve more into Procreate and how I use it in a separate video. But for now, that is that. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was like vaguely helpful. If any of your art supplies are the same as mine, please let me know. And if any of your art supplies I have never heard of, please also let me know. Maybe give me your like top 3 most used supplies in the comments, and we can all chat about paints and pens and paper and stuff, because that's my favourite thing to talk about. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this one. It was really fun to film. I really hope I didn't miss anything either. I've been kind of like looking around my room all day being like, and I kept finding things that I had forgotten about. Like I said in my last video, I'm really close to 2,000 subscribers. If you would like to subscribe, please do so. I will see you all with another video soon. Can you believe it's only been a week since the last one? Because I can't. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you another time. I will see you later. Bye 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 bye.